Hey guys, how are you doing? I hope you are all doing great. Yeah, so today I've decided to switch things around a bit. I got a bit bored of the car project, so let's try something different. We're going to be making a Disney like castle like this. I got this image from ArtStation. Let me see if I can find this. So it's by Gabriel Enriquez. So you can check out his ArtStation profile. And, I think he did something very interesting here. He used, I think, Blender for modeling, as I can recognize the shading. I can recognize the shading here. It looks like you used Blender here, and for the materials and rendering, he used uh, Unreal. So yeah, these were real-time results. So we should be able to achieve even better results using Blender. Hello, Mr. Freezy. How are you doing? So let's get into it, and yeah. Okay, you can see that in his version, hello, show me the way. Yeah, I'll show you the way, Mr. Noob like. You can see that we can break this into different parts, but I think we can also start like what he did here. Start by blocking out how our thing is going to look. So let's do that. I think what I'm going to do is just begin. I can see my screen keys here. Just to block out a road, I want to create a spiral like castle. So I've just added a plane here, and I'm going to use the screw modifier to create a screw like castle. So let's add a screw modifier. If you hear me pausing a lot, it's because I'm just looking at my internet and see that it's stable enough. And I think it's a bit lagging right now, but hope things get better. Let me just move my modem a bit. Okay, let's see if that will improve the speed. But okay, so we're going to add a screw modifier. I'm just going to create a pathway so that we can build from that. So I'm just going to use the screw here. I want it to be on the opposite side, so let's try a negative value here. Actually, no, let's not. I want it to be on the other side. Let's see. Let's rotate this. I want it to start from this side and then go to this side. So if mirror, yeah, something like this. And I think I can apply this screw modifier, and I'm going to scale this on the outside a bit as well. So let me turn on proportional editing, then move my pivot point to the cursor, make sure that proportional editing is set to connected, and I can scale this on the X and Y plane. Yeah, so this is where we're going to start our cursor from. Maybe it's too wide, so let me scale it back in. Yeah, something like that. Let me subdivide this so that we get a smoother curve, and then turn on, just right click and then smooth. Kosha Hatov, hey, is this going to be available to rewatch? Yes, it will be available to rewatch as a replace. Let's smoothen the vertices so that the curve is more smooth. Now what I'm going to do is extrude this down. So select everything and then extrude them down, just like that. And then we can add a solidify modifier, then give this some bit of thickness. So this is going to be our rod that goes up to maybe the main cursor above there. Can turn on shade smooth here, and then auto smooth for our normals. And now what I'm going to do is apply this solidify modifier. I want this surface, this bottom side to be flat, so I'm just going to scale it to 0 and to have something like this. Now we can build from this. Let me just set up my camera. You're welcome, Costa. Just my camera here, just my camera. Maybe also change the camera angle to about 25. Push it back a bit. Can also start it, move it down a bit. Okay, this is going to be our cursor, and now we can start blocking out different elements. For example, I think we can add a loop here, then bevel that. Then we can create the walls of this from this loop. I don't want them to be continuous, to have a continuous selection down here. I can extrude this to have something like that. And let's see how can we, what other details can make. So I think we can select also this part here and create some stairs from that. So I'm just going to duplicate this, then separate it into its own object. Let's first isolate it for a second. You can see this is what we have. I want to create stairs from this. So what I'm going to do is first make the stairs using the array system. So add a cube, scale it on the x-axis. Scale it down. Let's apply the scale. Then we can add the array modifier. Offset this to have something like that. We can add in a few extra edge loops here because I want to break this apart in some way. Let's see, just to add a few tiny details. I'm also maybe going to use a bevel modifier for this. Make sure this is above the array. Reduce the offset just a bit, turn on harden normals, and then auto smooth. Now if we apply this, let's first see, we can start adding a few edge loops here. I'm adding 3 edge loops, then selecting the middle edge loop, and then using Alt S to push that in, just like that, so that we get that a step like that. And now what I can do is apply this array, and then I can offset. Actually, shouldn't do that. What I can do is just first get rid of these inner loops, or I can just select them and offset them like that. So I'm selecting the inner loop and then hitting Ctrl plus to increase the selection. Just a slight small details like that can make your renders look far better than without those small details. So something like that. Now we can use the array bring this up like that. And now to make it follow this path, I'm just going to add a loop maybe around there, then Shift D to duplicate that loop, Shift D, and then P to separate it into its own object. So we have something like this, and I can go to the object menu and then convert this into a curved object. Now I want the pivot point of this to be around the start of that curve, so I'm just going to move my cursor there and then right click origin to 3D cursor and then move this to that position. Move our steps to that position. Actually I want the start to be at the bottom there, so origin to 3D cursor and then that, like that. Then I can increase the array count and then add a curve object to this. Now we just have to figure out the right orientation. Let's first move this up here and rotate this 90 degrees. Let's see how this is supposed to look. Just get the right axis here. Just going to apply scale, apply rotation. I first get rid of this array so that I get the right orientation of this. Sometimes it can be very confusing, to a bit difficult to get the right rotation. Add the array and first disable this curve and first correct my array. Let me also first turn off the Z. Now I can bring back the curve. Let's see. Okay, this is the right axis. Now we just have to play with this a bit. Blender modifiers can sometimes be a bit confusing, so that's why you see trying to get the right axis, but it's kind of really hard. You can also see that it's angling this at an angle, but if you go to the curve settings, you can play around with the twist method here. If I change this to Z up, you can see now it is moving this back to the up position. Now I just have to increase the count to all the way. Let me first bring this back into view, then it's going to move this so that it aligns nicely. I'm also going to reduce the thickness of this. Actually, these are not supposed to be steps because I expect maybe things like horses to travel along this path. Just scale this on the x-axis, on the y-axis again. But I still need to break up that pattern, so I'm just going to duplicate this and just offset again these. just save this, call this cursor. I'm going to speed up things now just a bit so that we don't spend too much time on this. Let me also set up some lighting so that you can look at how this is going to look. Okay, my curve is also, it's kind of going out of the path we have just set for it, so I'm just going to grab these edge loops and start pushing them around so that they fit nicely in our path, in our set path. And in some areas I might have to push this up. Okay, now let me add some small detail here. So let's extrude this up on the Z axis, turn on proportional editing. Now if we select this, I just first of all want to get the right orientation here, because I want to make an arc around here. So if we select this face and go to this transformation orientation, if you click the plus here, you can have the orientation of this face, and I want to use that to use for the spin tool. Let me just select this, cursor selected. Now I can use the spin tool, but I want it to spin in a different angle. Let's see, yeah, that, something like that. Another way to do it, because I think the spin tool is going to